Okay, May 6, 2012. I just kind of want to explain the POR-15 tank repair kit on the back of the Warrior. Basically, you get the Super Starter kit from POR. I got mine from the Northern California distributor. And what was happening was the rear plate was pulling away from the tank, which was causing a real small leak. As you see over here, the 6 spot welds, they were pulling away from the tank. This particular spot weld and this particular spot weld were pulling away from the tank. I feel that was caused from several issues. One of the issue was I was grabbing on the plate right here that mounts on the back of the tank, and what I was doing was when I was pulling the tank off and on, I just grabbed this thing and start pulling it, which was weaken this. Also, another issue I think what was going on, and Alan H. brought this up, was the seat, the Corbin seats. I put a couple little fender washers in between here and here to space this bracket down, pull it down. Before, when I would put the seat on the bike, the seat would clamp on very, very difficult. It would be very, very difficult to clamp on. I'd have to almost sit on the seat to get it to clamp on. Now I can just push it on and the key unlocks it, no problem. Anyways, what I ended up doing was the POR-15. It's advertised, and in the vintage motocross world, they use it to line the old vintage plastic and fiberglass gas tanks, because the modern ethanol fuel destroys the gas tanks. And this tank does not have it on, but it's going to get it. And what POR does is they line it on the inside. They also paint them on the vintage world. They paint it on the outside and repaint it, because the old fiberglass tanks end up getting blistered and they end up getting ruined. POR is advertised as a flexible product. You see, it's very flexible, and it's extremely strong. I mean, it's extremely strong, so it's pretty good. What I ended up doing is calling the Northern California distributor up. The young lady, Mary, recommended using this fine, and this stuff is nasty, folks, this fine finishing fiberglass cloth. Fine finishing cloth, and make a little pattern, and then you paint it on. You kind of use it as a composite structure. This stuff, safety glasses, you're gonna need your rubber gloves and a mask. It's very nasty stuff. Basically what I did was I sanded this area right here all the way around real good, used a little bit of acetone, stripped the paint off, sanded it all down, used like a little dental pick, got in all the grooves, got in there, and I even used a Dremel and sawed this off, this little piece off. I couldn't figure out what it was for, because I wanted the fiberglass mat to lay down in there. I also, if you look at this one right here, I also, when I was stripping it, noticed that the brazing here was awful weak. Had some not good penetration on the braze, so that's why I included this area. Sanded it all down, cleaned it all down. Then I followed the instructions, which is pretty simple in the POR kit. Used the marine clean, which they call, diluted, follow instructions, clean it all off. Then used what they call the metal ready, which is the metal prep. And Mary recommended, said this is where 99% of the people make the problem, is they put the metal ready on, wait 15 minutes, and then take it off, and then start doing the POR-15. She said put it on, come back hours later. So I ended up coming back about 3-4 hours later and ended up doing it. She said even overnight's fine, but I went ahead and did it 3 hours later because I just couldn't wait. I applied the POR-15 on the outside, all in there, get in there, and I even poured it down the hole right here, and I took a bolt and I would clean it out, and a Q-tip, so make sure I didn't get too much in there, and I would pull it out and then take the bolt and make sure it screws down in there and screws in there fine. And I had another bolt and it just screws in there fine. And then I let it set for 4 days. They say 96 hours, so I let it set for 4 days. Actually, I take it back. I applied the first process, got it till it's tacky to the touch, where your fingers don't leave an imprint. Your fingers don't leave, but you can feel it's tacky, but your fingers don't leave a fingerprint. Then I applied the weave over it, and then I applied a second coat on it, and then I applied Then I let it set for 96 hours, 4 days basically. And last night I came back and I applied a third coat. And last night it's dried up, and I'm gonna end up waiting another week to let it's done. Like I said, in the vintage motocross world, they use this stuff. It comes in 3 colors: white, black, and silver. Silver's the thickest. It also comes in a paste. And I was almost going to get the paste, but I'm glad I got the actual starter kit. Had everything in it. It's about anywhere $17 to $25. Okay, and it's well worth it. Like I said, the vintage guys, the motocross world, they paint the whole tank, the outside of the tanks, with this stuff, and they race them, and it sands down, and they line the inside and the outside. It's mainly made for the inside of the tank, but I didn't want to do the inside of the tank because I'll follow up more later with a status report on it. But I think what you need to do is if you remove the tank as much as I do, because I'm always playing around underneath there, don't grab it by the bracket. Don't grab it by this thing and pull it out. Make sure the tank is on, the bike is on reserve. You can take it off real easy. Just lift it up over the studs, and then just slide it back and just worry it back. Stop grabbing it by this. I was grabbing it by this. Also, another thing, check your seats, especially if you have the Corbin seats. My Stinger stiletto seat was horrible. I had to space it up basically about a quarter of an inch, 3/8 to a quarter of an 3/16 to a quarter of an inch. Horrible. And just keep an eye on it, guys. And like I said, this stuff is on there good, and it's fuel resistant. This is what it's made for. And like I said, there's absolutely no way you can break this stuff. Man, it's impossible. It's flexible in the whole 9 yards. Anyways, I'll update the post later on to see how it comes out, and we'll take it from there, guys. Okay, thank you very much.